Before we go any further, man, you guys make sure you hit that like button, tap that subscribe button, hit that share button because we're about to go in on this video. Um, for about 19 seconds, you heard students at a Vidor, Texas high school chant racial slurs down the hallway in a TikTok video. Uh, and it wasn't like they were quoting lyrics to a rap song or anything like that. They were chanting racial slurs with hard ER. This happened in Vidor, Texas. Uh, these three girls, I don't know for what reason they attempted to make the TikTok video, but they were going down the hallways and on school campuses chanting racial slurs using the N word. I want to say that I'm surprised by this, but I'm truly not, even in the year 2022. I want to say that I'm surprised that it's even happening inside the school systems, but I'm not. Even going to reach out and further and say that, this is happening in Vidor, Texas. And guess what? It's to be expected. Vidor, Texas has had a long history of behavior like this. And so far as the young ladies, I use that term loosely, these girls, the investigation was being launched by the Vidor Independent School District, and they reached out and said, you know what, they don't condone this type of behavior. And those three girls were suspended for a 3-day period. So they to go down the hallways, chant racial slurs, and were only suspended for 3 days. And I have so many questions about this. Like, not one time did I see a faculty member, a teacher, or any other staff member, a school resource officer jump in the middle of this and say, hey, this is not what we do. Because I'm more than positive, as strange as it may sound, I'm certain there are Black students and students of color and other race and ethnicities that attend that high school. Now, some people have asked me, well, before I go that further, I'll say this much. I don't think a 3-day suspension is enough. I think that these girls need to be punished to the maximum, not jail time, but they should be expelled from the school district. If they were a part of any extracurricular activities, they should be made to step down. If they had scholarships that they worked for, I think those scholarships should be revoked. Much like an athlete, if an athlete were to get in trouble with the law, even if it wasn't racially motivated or not, anything he worked hard for is put in jeopardy. And I think those girls should face the same punishment. Now, you heard me say that I'm not surprised this happened in Vidor, Texas, because Vidor, Texas has a history of this behavior. Vidor, Texas, for all intents and purposes, was and is still considered a sundown town, as to where people of color, Blacks, were not allowed, or it was very dangerous for them to be inside the city limits after dark. As a matter of fact, Vidor, Texas, just recently in the 90s, had a desegregation law as to where they could desegregate public housing and city housing in the 90s. That was just 20 years ago, maybe almost 25 years ago. So that's how far back this town is in Texas. And myself, I'm originally from Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's just I-10 East here from where I am now. And it was always told to us growing up when we travel going I-10 West, do not stop in Vidor, Texas, because you will be treated differently, whether it's to get gas, use a bathroom, stop and get something to eat. Vidor, Texas is Vidor, Texas is a place that you do not want to be. And I'm starting to realize that, people are just getting way too loose with social media. Social media was a tool that should have been to benefit and help. Obviously, we can't control everything that's going on, but I'm seeing social media being used more as a tool to hurt and spread hate and ignorance versus teaching someone something or being able to help someone out, or us coming together and with collective ideas to better us as a society, not as a race, but as a society. And what those three girls did, I'm more than certain this is not the first time something like this has happened. I'm pretty positive this is a learned behavior. I'm certain this is something that is commonplace within their families and within their homes. Children normally mimic what they see growing up. So the whole do as I say, not as I do never works, ever. Kids soak up things like a sponge and they act out in public what they see at home. So this is a learned behavior. And I'm more than positive that once they do deeper digging into this story, they're going to find out where these girls got this from. I personally think that the state itself should take a deeper look into the Vidor Independent School District and to see what's being done about this to rectify this, to make sure this doesn't happen again, if at all, if they even care to do so. Something like this needs to be addressed. Those of you with kids, reach out to your kids and ask them what's going on in the school. What's happening throughout your day? Are you being treated fairly? Do you see any of your classmates or any of your friends being treated differently because they look different than the faculty and staff members? These are conversations I think that need to be had that are not being had enough, because you never actually know what's going on inside those walls of the school until something like this happens. Hopefully, going forward, we can prevent things like this from happening. We can start accepting each other as differences without using any racial slurs or rhetoric. Definitely not at all. And it should never be in place inside of a place of education, the school system, a high school, public school, where most of them are not even old enough to vote yet. You're still learning the basics before you try to transcend into a higher education. You guys, I'm in a loss for words. Like I said, I brought you the original audio because TikTok banned the audio once they saw what was going on. So again, man, you guys click that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button in case they try to dumb the numbers down to make sure this video does not get out there, so this situation won't be heard like it should be. This needs to be addressed. You guys take care of yourself. Until next time, excellence over excuses.